Hello all, this is Trusha Patel. Welcome to the lecture of symbol table. So starting with what is symbol table? A compiler uses a symbol table to keep track of scope and binding information related to the names. Now this name can be identifiers, labels, then variable name, function name. This all fall into the category of name. Now the operation we are going to perform on the symbol table are search, add and update. We can search for any name inside the symbol table. Either we have to enter the new entry of a name inside the symbol table, or we would like to change the existing information of any name. Now the symbol table size must be dynamic so that it can grow runtime. As we are going for the dynamic memory allocation like stuff, we would like to enter the variable name, the size, etc. thing at the runtime. So the symbol table must be dynamic in size so that it can run and grow at the execution time. Now the entries in the symbol table, the format of the entry does not be uniform because the information saved about each name is different. Let us take example. If we are going to save a variable inside the symbol table, the information related to that variable may be type of the variable, size of that variable, then the dimension. If it is a array, then it may be of 2 dimension, 3 dimension. So the number of dimension may be associated with this variable. So this kind of stuff we are going to save for the variable. While in case of the procedure name, we may like to save the address of the parameter list, then the name of the parameter. Then next, if we are going for the function, we would also like to keep track of the return value, length of the return value, address of the parameter, and the name of the parameters. But if we are going to save label inside the symbol table, then only the statement number where you have mentioned that label is required. So as you can see that each name is having a different information associated with it, and so that the size of information field of any of the name cannot be uniform. Now, to keep symbol table records uniform, it may be convenient for some of the information about a name to be kept outside the table, and we are just maintaining a pointer of that information inside the symbol table. Now, information are entered in the symbol table are first keywords will already been inserted at initially, and variable, function names, label, that everything will be inserted by the lexical analyzer phase of your compiler. Now first, if there is a upper bound we are assigning for the length of the name, then the character in the name can be stored in the symbol table as shown inside the figure. Let's say for example in a C, there is a restriction that your variable name or the identifier will be of maximum size 31, right? So in that case, your name field can be of maximum upper bound is 31. Now you can see in the first, my name is sort, S-O-R-T. So out of 31, only 4 characters are used. Then in the second variable name is A. So out of 31, only A one character is used and rest of the 30 characters are unused, right? So here the length of the name we are fixing, but due to very small variable names, there will be a lack of wastage of memory, right? As well as if we try to go with the variable name more than 31, in that case it won't allow us. So we can go ahead with the second option, that is the variable length. Now you can see that there is a separate array of names, and the name field of your symbol table is actually maintaining a pointer for each and every name which is existing in this array. Now first name is SORT. After that there is one EOS, that is end of string, which indicate that the first name is end over here. And the very first pointer of the name is pointing to sort. Second pointer is pointing to A. Third is pointing to stu underscore name, and fourth is pointing to XYZ. Now here the wastage of memory is also not there, and we are not also putting any upper bound limit for the variable name, right? Now next, talk about the data structure which can be used for the symbol table. uh, there can be linear list or the hash tables. Starting with the first, that is linear list. So as shown in the figure, there will be a list in which you have to first save the identifier or the name, and after that you have to save the information related to that, right? So there will be a combination of name information likewise, right? Now use a single array or the equivalent several array to store the name and the attributes. Now here attributes are nothing but the information related to that name. Now there is one pointer available which will always point to the end, means after the last entry you have done in this linear list, after that the available is there, right? So this is something like a top pointer we are having in this step. Now two operation we are going to perform basically are the add and search operation. Now in add operation, new entry is made in the space available immediately followed by the available, right? And after doing the entry inside the linear list, the available pointer will be incremented by the size of the new record which you have entered. Now new name will be added to the list in the order in which they are encountered. So the very first name which is encountered will be entered first, and the last name which is encountered will be entered at the last. Now to perform the search operation, search of the name will start from the available pointer and go till the beginning of your list. When the name is located, the associated information will be retrieved or the updated, whatever you wants to. But if you start from the available pointer and go till the beginning and the variable will not found, in that case the fault is occurred. So errors are given by your program. Now the disadvantage of this is, if we are not going to support the multiple variables or the names are having same names, like we don't have the identifier float a and character a, right? That kind of thing if you don't want to support, in that case whenever we wants to enter a new variable, we have to search the list first, and if the variable not found, then we have to do the entry. Now in that case, if the total number of names are small n and the total number of inquiries, means the search operation you have to perform is small e, then the cost to make n entries will be Cn n plus e. Now here c is a constant which is the some system operation time will be added, right? Now here if the small n and small e is very high, then the overall cost to enter that n variables or the names inside this linear list will be very much. Now next is hash table. It is more efficient than the linear list and used by many of the compilers. The basic scheme of the hash table is shown in the figure. Now here is a hash table is of size m. To determine for any entry S is a name which you have encountered in your program, you have to apply one hash function h on your name that will return you hash value between 0 to m minus 1. which is the size of your hash table, and at that particular hash value you have to insert your name. Now there will be a linked list at on each and every hash value. So whenever the name is having the same hash value, the name will be inserted at the front of your linked list. Now next is representing the scope information. Now as the symbol table is saving the information of identifier, this identifier may declared inside the main, inside the user defined function, or maybe declared globally. So the scope of all these identifiers are different. So in that case, the simplest approach is we can go ahead with maintaining the separate symbol table for each and every scope. So for suppose we can have one global symbol table in which we'll be maintaining the information of all the keywords and the global variables. Then there will be a separate symbol table for the variables which we have declared inside our void main. Then separate symbol table for each and every user defined function. Thank you for the lecture.